How's it going, guys? It's Nutshell here, and today we have a video which has been somewhat requested by you guys about taking out PMCs within Escape from Tarkov's PVE mode. So let's talk about how you can do that and actually get into some gameplay to showcase what I mean by that. So you can see here there are a ton of tasks that do require you to, for example, take out PMCs or just general targets within the game at various different locations. Now the one that we're going to be doing is this quest right here, which is eliminating PMC operatives using an M4 and a 6B43 body armor and a Kiver M helmet on factory. So we need 10 of those, and then we get all of these rewards down here, leading on to a second part of the quest. But that's not the point of this video. We'll kind of break it down as to how the PMCs react within this video in particular, and then kind of go through the sorts of stuff that you can do. We're just running with an M4 build. As you know, it's an M4 requirement to actually run on this map, so let's jump into the raid and we can kind of go from there. So jumping into the raid, the first thing that we want to do is check for noises, especially on a map like for example factory. One thing to always have on your weapon is a flashlight and a laser, because that gives you a better indication when you're moving through the map as to where you're going to be firing, obviously. Now, not only that, but bringing in grenades is one of the best things that you can do, because what we can do is we'll pop a grenade right here and we'll lob it, and we can hear for voice lines. And so with that, we can pop around this corner. There is a scav right there, which is brilliant. We heard him on the voice line, and then Tagilla can spawn directly behind here. So he didn't in this raid, which is fine. But what I did hear is potentially a PMC over here. So we want to do some quick peeking. And what we'll do is we heard a voice line. They can be underneath. So we'll lob a nade. Then when you're peeking round corners, you want to use your kind of right and left hand leaning. And then there usually is a spawn of PMCs down underneath, but there can also be over here. So it sounds like they could be actually down this corridor. So we'll do a quick always. So one thing to always note when you're going around a corner is to do a little kind of circle as you're going around. That way you can spot if there's anyone actually down there, and it's a good way of kind of peeking. And you can essentially do this and you'll see around the corner, and it gives basically the AI not the possibility of just one tapping you when you do it. So it's a good way of kind of checking around corners before you go round them. So we heard some voice lines just down this corridor, so what we're going to do is we'll just do a quick pre-aim. So obviously there was a PMC right there, so what we'll do is we never know if there's going to be multiple, so we'll use another one of our nades. So there is another one round the corner. So when we come out of this room, we're going to aim right, and we can pre-aim just like that. It's pretty simple when it comes to the AI on this game. They're not too bad in order to take out, and obviously when you're playing in much smaller areas such as this map in particular, it makes it quite easy to actually run through, and it's a lot better of a map to actually go through rather than what you see with some of the other maps where they're much more open. However, the tips still apply, and you should always be thinking about the different ways in which you should push into opponents and checking all of your corners. And of course, making sure you're listening out for them, because that is one of the biggest things in PvE, is the voice lines will be your kind of saving grace when it comes to getting around various different maps without any problems. and that is really what I've kind of found from playing on Factory. I'd highly recommend playing a bit of Factory in order to kind of learn how to move around the maps and get around without having too much difficulties, because of the fact that you're getting into a lot of engagements and you're learning very, very quickly. You can iterate on how you're actually doing, and although you may get taken out quite a bit, and because the boss is also a pretty much 100% spawn rate, it can be a little bit different. This raid seems to be fairly dead, so we'll just extract out. So I did actually hear a voice line, and they've gone into the office area, I believe. And you can see that there's a PMC right there. And there you go, you can sneak up on them as well. But once again, as I always say, make sure to lob an aid, because there's always another one. Doesn't sound like there actually is on this occasion. And I wasn't sure if that's a scav or not. And we've taken out the scav. Now we'll pull over to the corner when we're checking our mags or putting ammunition in. It's something you should always do. We've got another... I don't know how he tanked a headshot there, but okay. You even saw the blood come out. I don't know why that is. But when you're checking your mags, usually scavs will push you, or just PMC AI in general, they will kind of push towards you. So you should always be listening for footsteps when you are packing your mags, otherwise you can get surprised quite a lot. And it definitely triggers the AI to kind of come towards you. I guess they're trying, BSG were trying to simulate the fact that people will push you, but often it's just so annoying for the actual game mode and like the flow of the game as well. So yeah, it can definitely be a bit of a nuisance, but we can grab up that and we'll pop it in our back. And we can search this backpack. And there we go. So a nice easy extract, nice easy one, and of course managing to get away through some of the tasks, 30% of the way through in one raid. Sometimes you get a ton of PMC spawns, sometimes you don't get too many. That raid seemingly only a couple of them. I don't know whether there's something bugged with regards to them just instantly extracting from the map, but yeah, it definitely feels a bit weird in terms of the extracts in this game, but not too bad a result. Of course, one of the best things about Factory is that you can just rinse and repeat this map over and over and over again, and it's quite quick to get into engagements, and so it makes it the easiest way to kind of understand the AI mechanics within PvE mode. I've used it a ton in order to kind of learn that, especially at the beginning where you're not entirely sure how they're going to interact with you, and especially since the AI rework that BSG did and how you can kind of expect what they're going to do, even though BSG tried not to make them expectable. So we heard a voice line, one upstairs. We really don't want to push up the slope as it's quite easy to get beamed by a lot of the AI. So the AI is pushed down, which means we can push up. And there we go. So once you've taken out most of the squad members, one of them usually pushes you. So we definitely damaged one. So what we'll do is we'll lob a nade. We'll pack up another mag. Listening for voice lines all of the time. I think he's just taken out a scav. So we've packed up our mag. There's one more. if you're unsure as to whether or not you've taken out one of the PMCs, what you can do, if you got a task, you can see that we've taken out 2 PMCs in this game. So that means that we definitely got one of those. Now the grenade possibly could have taken one of them out, but it was most likely going to be us taking that guy out. I'm pretty sure we saw it. And there we go. Such a weird rush from the PMC there, but they will randomly do that sometimes, especially if you're reloading. They'll come charging in. And yeah, I mean, unless you're very quick at actually kind of taking out of the screen and making sure that you are kind of ready to go at all times, listening out for those footsteps. As soon as you hear the running or sprinting animation, you go straight out of that screen regardless of where you're trying to get to, and then you actually aim properly. So that's another PMC down, and that brings us up to 6 in total, I believe. When it comes to PMCs, we always want to check their magazines, so making sure to always check which ammo they've actually got in them. You can see PS ammo, not interested at all. But usually they have 2 grenades in the back pocket, so unfortunately this one didn't. He must have used them. But what we can do now is, once again, as I always say, chuck a nade, see if anyone's about. Doesn't sound like it. You always want to make sure that you are still checking everywhere, as PMCs can still be around. This guy's going to have 2 grenades, which is nice, so we can keep our grenades stockpiled. Now Tagilla is of course on this map, so we want to be kind of careful. So once we've looted up, you kind of want to make sure that you are fully loaded in all your magazines, so we'll drop that in there, do a quick reload before we engage again or come near anyone else. I'm pretty sure there's no one else near us, but what we'll do, sounds like a scav is over this way. And there goes the scav. Now, because I know what Tagilla's like, we can hear a PMC over here. Now they can be deep left as you come in here. Throw another nade. Which makes me think that they are actually underneath. Pack up that final mag. Left hand peek around the stairs as we come up, because you never know. They can be behind some of these, so we'll always make sure to do that. Now what we can do is get ourselves a tiny bit of money that we can recoup some of the ammunition costs if you need to. That's pretty much what I do when I'm tasking, is just find enough money to cover the ammunition costs, and then you'll be golden. Obviously I don't need the money, but my point still stands that if you don't have enough money, or you're wondering like, oh okay, I don't want to be kitted out all the time, then it's always worth looting just enough to cover the gear. So when we come around this corner, always checking on the stairs, doing our little circling. So it sounds like we may have ourselves a little Tagilla. Never mind, it was a scav that was super close to us. Of course, a shotgun scav, the best kind. So, turns out they were downstairs outside. The only problem is we are running out of ammo, so we'll probably hop out of this raid. We don't want to get taken out because we've got no ammo. We'll grab out that weapon just for the sake of it, so we can level up our actual weapon maintenance perk or skill. Grab up some of these nades. And we don't need the backpack. And we'll lob the nade again. And there we go, a pretty successful raid. We took out quite a few of the PMCs within that one. And of course, it's all dependent on how many PMCs are in your raid. Seems like we only had about 4 of them. Maybe there was another one hiding in a corner somewhere. But I'm not going to chase them down. We'll just rather go into the next raid and take them out. So that was 2 consecutive raids in a row. You can see we took out 3, 4, 5 and 6 PMCs. Seems like we did actually take out a PMC at the end there with a grenade. So yeah, a bit unfortunate because we could have done it with the M4 and got our progress towards the next point. But it still makes the same thing. We still took out the PMC. And of course, we got a nice little 7,000 XP for that one. The only injury that we had was our right arm being blown off by a scav sneaking up behind us, crouch walking, which is, you know, always good. But with that being said, that is today's video. We've made significant progress towards the task being complete, and of course I'll go off and complete that task in my own time, but I thought it would be an interesting one to kind of showcase to you guys and feature some of the gameplay mechanics that go behind the PMC, so you guys get a glimpse as to what to expect and how to deal with that. And it's really not too complicated in terms of that. It's only really the bosses that can be a real big problem. And of course, we're trying to do some guides on how to take out each and every one of them that you can go and have a look at, and they will be in this playlist right here, which I'd thoroughly recommend going and taking a look at. But other than that, I hope you have a fantastic rest of the day, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.